changed. I am complete. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No more heartache or pain. I am complete. Yes, I said it. My whole life has changed. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. I am. Yes, I said it, and I meant it, and my world has changed. I was poor from a dark, dark side, but now I can see again. You reached down when I needed you most. Oh, and you kept me close. Yes, I said it. Complete. My whole life has changed. Oh, yeah. No more heartache or pain. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. My whole life has changed. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. I am complete.
No longer scared to face the world with my scars out and proud. Never again will I let something hold me down. I am complete. Thanks to the help I got when I kneel down on one knee. I learned the road of life is filled with twists and turns, and if you play with fire, you will get burned. But that road I traveled and that burn I suffered, but in the end it made me tougher. Lord knows I wanted to quit and just end it all, but He told me, son, this is not where you fall, this is where you stand tall.
When I was in need, oh, you saved me. Yes, I said it. When I was troubled, and I meant it. My whole life has changed. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. I am complete. I crossed the road. I see things clearer now. What He has shown me, I can reach for the sky. I crossed the road. I see things clearer now. What He has shown me, I can reach for the sky. I crossed the road. I see things clearer now. What He has shown me, I can reach for the sky. I crossed the road. I see things clearer now. Changed. I am complete. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No more heartache or pain. I am complete. Yes, I said it. My whole life has changed. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. I am. Yes, I said it, and I meant it, and my world has changed. I was poor from a dark, dark side, but now I can see again. You reached down when I needed you most. Oh, Yes, I said it. Complete. My whole life has changed. Oh, yeah. No more heartache or pain. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. My whole life has changed. I am complete. No more heartache or pain. I am complete.
No longer scared to face the world with my scars out and proud. Never again.
Renee, and we have a special guest.
Yes.
Y'all know I've been wanting this. I've been wanting to make it.
Yes.
Not like that, but y'all know
We've
I've
been
I've
looking.
We've been
looking.
to come onto the show, and we have one now.
We're
a
blessed.
stand-up guy. Ooh,
Yes,
thank
he
you, thank
is.
you, Alvin, and he's going to share his story. It's a great, great, great testimony, and I hope that it opens up some more doors for some more gentlemen to come in and talk and speak on this whole different level of abuse.
Yes.
So we're going to get started. Renee's going to run with this. Let's go.
Well, I mean, I have the pleasure of knowing Alvin personally. So I already know how wonderful he is on so many levels. I'm going to let him tell you about everything that's going on, but I just wanted to say that he is a stand-up man. And
Thank you.
I mean, he is what they call a hustler. I mean, in a good way. He's a great father, a friend, and, you know, I'm just going to let him share his story with you, and then we can come back to me.
Okay, so what do you want me to start? You want me to start from the beginning?
From the beginning, yes.
Okay. I decided. Tell you why I decided to come on. I decided to come on because, for a long time, I've always felt like men are alienated when it comes to the domestic violence, and we're alienated in the role of being the victimizer, and not necessarily being a victim as well.
Right.
And it's my thought that in order to fix it, to fix the problem in whole, it's two people in a relationship.
Yes.
So you can't concentrate on one person and not concentrate on the other person as well.
Right.
Because in order to if say you remove a woman from one area of abuse or home of abuse,
Right.
that man still might take on another role with another woman.
Exactly.
So you have to get to the root of why he does what he does and why it translates into abuse or why it translates into volatile actions or whatever in order to fix the problem as a whole. So that's been my thought. I think that's a forgotten, part of
It is.
the domestic violence awareness. So, and it's a saying that victims usually become victimizers, and hurt people.
Right.
So, in some instance, the person that's victimizing at this point was a victim too.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Most
so,
of the time,
right.
yes.
Yep.
so, and they never got fixed. They never got help. So,
Okay.
and that's my story.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I wasn't necessarily a victim, but I saw. I was a victim of visual.
Right.
I saw it visually.
were a victim.
You know what I mean?
You-
So you know what I mean?
yeah.
So like it didn't physically happen to me, but
Right.
it happened to me mentally because I saw it with my parents,
Right.
my mom and dad, and I saw it from my mom being the aggressor instead of my dad being the aggressor. My mom being
Which
the
is-
one,
yeah.
the one carrying the infidelity instead of my dad being the one carrying the infidelity. So it had me in a whole mindset of women when it came to women, like just like if a woman sees a man cheat all the time or do whatever she says, or all men cheaters or all men this, and I had that same, I had that same, I categorized, women to a certain extent,
Right.
and it manifested into my relationships.
Right.
Now, I'm not a volatile person, but I am a retaliatory person, meaning you can't push me, but so far. You know what I mean? I don't come home drunk and ready to fight.
Ready to
No,
fight.
but you can't talk to me a certain kind of way. You can't yell. You can't demean. You can't yell and scream. And I had women that were like that, very vocal, very loud, very aggressive,
Okay.
and it made me become aggressive back to the point where as though it ended up a smack here, a punch there, and that's not good. You know what I mean? Even though it never manifested into anything major, but it was major, but it wasn't like ongoing violence. It was increments of stuff here and there. You know what I mean? Pockets where I'd be like, you know what, now snap out of it. And it was always when alcohol was involved. You know what I mean? Because when alcohol is involved, you're impaired. You can't. Your thought process is totally different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you're, and say like alcohol is a enhancing drug. So if you're depressed, you're going to be even more depressed if you drink. And if you're angry, you're going to be even more angry and volatile when you drink. So, you know, if you already have issues in your relationship, already stuff going on, you're already arguing, you're already fighting, you're already fussing, then you get drunk thinking you're going to combat that, you know what I mean, or, you know, take you away from it. And all it does is enhance what you're going through times 10, you know what I mean? And then it ends up manifesting itself into something totally different, and it's ugly, you know what I mean? So that's how I got to the point where, you know, after a while, I just started to self-evaluate. I started to look at myself and, you know, I started, you know, after being in relationship after relationship and it ended up the same way, you got to say at some point, you know, you do math, you do common denominators. At some point, you got to change the common denominator in order to get a different number. You know what I mean? So, you know, I had to change myself and fix myself first before I could even attempt to, you know, try to.
Can you run that line one more time? You had to.
Fix myself. You know what I mean? Before I could even think about trying to fix somebody else or even be with somebody else. I had to fix myself. And it's not an easy process, but it started 4 years ago with the passing of my dad, to be honest with you. Like, when he passed, I looked at everything in my life that was wrong and why I wasn't where I needed to be in my life. And I felt like I was holding myself back because I was committing myself to other people's problems before fixing my own problems. You know what I mean? Like, I see somebody that was hurt or broken and I might try to fix it. And then when I couldn't, you know, and their problems overshadowed mine, it ended up in bad situations. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's a scripture in Corinthians. I don't know the number, but it's bad association spoils useful habits.
Right.
If you're not strong in your convictions and what you want to do, and you're around somebody that's bad for you, eventually you will become bad yourself. So I had to make sure that I surrounded myself with positive energy, positive people, and that's what I started to do. You know what I mean? And it started to uplift me to it. And then I got blessed because I landed a job working at Thrive DC, which is a nonprofit organization that helps men, women, and children. Some are homeless, some are transitioning from CTF and jail and stuff like that, going back into the community to find housing. But I work the women's program.
Wow.
Our women's program, I've met so many women that's gone through so many things. It gave me a new perspective on women and the outlook of how I looked at domestic violence, how I looked at people that needed help. You know what I mean? It just softened me to a certain extent because life had hardened me. You know what I mean? It made me like really be like, I don't give a, you know what I mean? Like rough. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
That's human.
You know what I mean? Like rough for real. Like, it made me rough. And, you know, working there has really started to get me back to a point where I'm back in touch with my emotions. You know, I'm not afraid to be a guy, but I'm not afraid to be sensitive and understanding and loving and caring and show those emotions, because it was a point where rah-rah everything. It was rah-rah everything. You know what I mean? Like, it just happened because, like, I started out that way. I grew up in Mississippi, and I started out in Mississippi is totally different than life here. Yeah. You know, it was, when I got here, it was a culture shock. I was chased home. Yeah. Like, I was jumped and beat up. So, you know, I had to, like, put on this and become something that I wasn't necessarily. You know what I mean? And then with all the stuff going on at home, too, it was just like a culmination of a lot of things going on in my life that turned me into somebody that I really wasn't inside. You know what I mean? So I had to get back to being me.
Wow, I understand that though, because I'm from St. Mary's, and St. Mary's is like totally different from Philadelphia. Yes. And when I left, when we actually came to DC first, so But St. Mary's is like, anybody that knows it is like the Boondocks, period. And then I moved straight to the city, graffiti and all this. So it is a culture shock. So I understand that definitely. But the beautiful blessing in all of this to me is that despite everything that you went through, you endured, you saw, you still have a good heart. And that's the same thing we discussed before. Right. Everything, I've been molested from childhood, raped 3 times, and then abused, died, brought back to life, all the whole, my story. But I still have a good heart. Right. I could walk around here, angry all the time. We talked about that last week. But I'm not. And you're the same, and he's the same way. Mm-hmm. I mean, despite the fact that we are human. Right. We're human. We're going to get upset if somebody do something wrong to us, but we don't walk around with a chip on our shoulder anymore. So, and I totally understand where you're coming from when you say what you say, because I feel the same way.
Well, I will say this, and I've said it to you on the phone. We've talked. I truly commend you, and I'm
definitely
so happy to have you on the show, and I hope that it really opens up some doors for other men to come on and share their story. And the thing that I do want to go back to is that out of all of the negative portion of it, you turned everything back into positive. And part of that comes from just basically admitting
you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
being able to stand up and say, I did something I'm not proud of, and I was wrong for doing it. But being able to stand up and say that you've done it and commit to positive energy is like the best thing to me.
Definitely,
that's like the
definitely.
Best thing to me. And even with Renee's situation, it's like all that she's been through and again has come out of it and is advocating and just doing so many positive things against it. And it's just, I really do commend both of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to remember how we talked about him coming on the show. And I remember now, he inboxed me and he said to me, "I'm so proud of everything that you're doing." And he said, the only thing about it is, I think, as far as domestic violence is concerned, it should be looked at from both ends. It shouldn't be from every angle, not just one way. And, and I was like, you should come on the show. And he was like, sure. And I'm like, yes, because we have been discussing that we wanted a male to come on. That, right. Yeah, she really has. She really has.
I think, I put you in disguise. Whatever I need to do.
I was talking to a friend, about coming on the show, and we was, I was telling him why I was coming on the show and stuff like that. And we was talking about, how a lot of men don't want to tell that story because society has put us in a box to where as though if we cry out, if we ask for help, then we're weak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Prime example, in the news a while back, it was a story where the 2 ladies groped a man at the gas station.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right?
That's right.
And the guy reported it or whatever, he reported the situation, and he was laughed. I mean, he was basically ridiculed, laughed at. The internet was going crazy, talking about, and I'm like, well, look at it from another standpoint. What if he did that to them?
Right.
He would be a molester. He would be a rapist. He would be a pervert. He would be all types of derogatory things. Bad behavior is bad behavior. Bad behavior should not be gender-based.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about domestic violence, because domestic violence is a man and a woman in a relationship. 9 times out of 10, of course, we have, other options today, but, it should never be gender-based.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So bad behavior should be looked upon as bad behavior because the Bible says, do us unto others as you have them do it to you. It doesn't say, do us into a man and, then you can get away with if you're a woman.
Exactly.
No, it's not. Bad behavior is bad behavior. So woman should not smack a man. I don't care if he cheated on you 50 times. If you want to leave, you leave. Don't
walk
smack
away.
him. Don't bust his windows out. Don't chase him down. Don't stalk him. Don't provoke bad behavior. You know what I mean? You have an option to walk away the same way you would want somebody to walk away from putting their hands on you.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could walk away first. You know what I mean? Because I had a teacher in school, she used to say, you could walk away, and then I used to have a principal who said, well, yeah, but he could have never walked up. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Right.
So,
That's true.
It's kind of a thin line to how you look at it, and we have always looked at it as the retaliatory person is always the you know the bad person. You know, when I say retaliatory, I mean retaliatory with hands.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, but I was
And
go,
well,
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry. But no, I just wanted to say this. Honestly, the majority is that way. It is the male, and that's why you know the statistics are the way they are. But reality is that women are getting even more aggressive, and women are doing things, and you know too. And as you said, it's not either way. It shouldn't be. You know, I mean, the facts are the facts, but at the end of the day, nobody should put hands on anybody.
Well,
you know, walk away.
I don't know. The facts are skewed because women report, men don't. So
You know what? You're right.
So the numbers could be skewed because
You're right about
not
that.
how many men gonna call the police and say she's
And
over
they-
here busting me in the head, or
Right.
she's over here doing something to me. Usually they just deal with stuff how they deal with it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And get away. And women know that they can call the police, and they're gonna rush over, and that 9 times out of 10 he's gonna go to jail and something's gonna happen to him. Blah blah blah. Because that's the way the system has been designed. So the numbers are kind of. I think the numbers are kind of skewed because
males don't report.
because being in that situation, I talk to men and I talk to women every day, and a lot of men be like, man, I'm just whatever, I deal with it. They don't even like. Most men don't like the police, especially African American men.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? So
This is true.
911 ain't even on our. That's not. While on the other hand, it might be on speed dial on your phone. You know what I'm saying? We don't. You know what I mean? We don't
Right.
deal in that
Right.
realm, so it's hard for us to report and
Right.
get those numbers.
But now, I'm not cutting you off, but
Yeah.
is that like more of like an ego?
I think it's just the way we've been treated by. Just look at what's going on today. You don't have. We have always been the focal point of the law enforcement,
Right,
whether we're doing good or bad.
right.
So we've always been taught that they're against us.
Against us, man.
So in that realm, who do you call? Who do you know what I mean? I've called them and they've come and I said, I called you, but they looked at me like I'm like, I called, she broke in my house. You know what I mean? Like, and they looking at me like I'm crazy. You know what I mean? Because I had my child's mother, she broke in my house, cut my bed up, put my things and I called. I'm like,
Wow.
I called you.
See what I'm saying? Males
You know what I
do
mean?
go through this.
I called you
See?
and they're like, yeah, whatever. What did you do? I'm like,
What did you do
was
to cause
out.
it?
I came home and this is what happened. Like, what are you gonna do?
I'm so glad you came
know what
on
I
here
mean?
today. I swear.
Like,
because
it's crazy. It's crazy.
it's just because y'all, they're always hearing like from us, from me, and it's good to hear from the male's perspective.
And they actually say it's 15%. But like you say, the numbers, but they say it's 15% of the men are abused, 80 to the 85% of women who are abused. But again, it could be based on
That are being reported.
right what's
That's,
reported.
that's what they go by.
And that's the unfortunate part too. And then my question, I was wondering about the reason I say ego is because
That too, though. Come on now.
But then I
Come on
wanted to
now.
go back a little bit. Is it too, because the way we were raised, the men were raised.
Yeah,
you a
said,
man.
be hard.
Right.
Exactly.
Not
I'm a
have that
man
weak
type
spot
thing. Yeah,
where
right.
I could cry or I could,
Exactly. And I think that plays into abuse. If you desensitize, remember we talked about if you desensitize a man from his emotions, detach him from his emotions, then how can he really be an able-bodied person to deal with a very emotional creature, which is a woman?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you desensitize him, you tell him don't cry. He has a daughter or a
Right.
wife.
Right.
She cries. He like,
Right.
I don't know. Do you over there crying? What you
Yeah.
crying for? You know what I mean? Like,
somewhere.
Here's some tissue.
you
I
tripping.
don't know.
Crying
You
for.
crying because you broke your head? What's going on?
What's going
You know what
on?
I mean? It's like he doesn't understand, you know what I mean, how to deal
Right.
with her. So he gets in a relationship and it's a learning process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, but the learning process may not be necessarily a good learning process because, from time
He's
to
not
time it
used
might,
to it.
yeah, exactly. So, I think we have to go back and to the drawing board also with how we raise our young men. With
Definitely.
with teaching them it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to be in touch, it's okay to be sensitive, it's okay. It's okay
Right.
to hug, cry,
And it
laugh,
is.
joke,
Yeah,
all
it
that.
is.
It's okay. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make you less of a man, actually makes you a better man.
A better man.
You know what I mean? So,
better man.
so
And I know
That-
for me, I have a son, and he is, he's compassionate.
Right.
He hugs. He loves on. He gives me my hugs, my kisses, and everything like that.
Exactly.
And my husband and him, they talk about it. My husband's the same way. He's like, show your emotions, never shield your emotions. And I want him to be like that. But he's also going to have that, that hardened side of a man. But be sensitive to your woman.
Definitely.
Show some compassion and show, and I think that will make for a better relationships and better situations and all this
And
abuse.
you got to teach our women what to look for. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
the first thing I remember growing up and hearing my grandma, my aunties, and they always say, tell the younger ones, make sure you find a man, take care, you got a good job, this, that, and the third. But the first thing should be make sure you find a man that's in love with himself. First, and in love with God. Because if he doesn't love those two things, if he doesn't love himself and he doesn't love God, then he can't possibly love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you got to find a person that's complete.
Right.
And whole first, because I always say people say it's 50-50. No, it's 100-100. You know what I mean? I have to give 100. I have to give 100. You have to give 100. You know what I mean? And I have to be 100% complete. You have to be 100% complete before we become a unit, a complete unit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Wow.
That's true.
Yeah. Sure enough.
But ladies, I love my ladies, and I'm a stand up for y'all.
That's right.
But for real,
y'all
for
already
real.
know.
So, it hurts me to say this, but sometimes we provoke.
Oh yeah.
I don't condone, but sometimes
Yeah.
we do provoke. And I guess for men it's different because we had talked about this, like what side we can push, like what button we can push that will send a man
Trigger.
off to that land. And it's a very short list compared to our list. We have a longer list on things that we can,
Well, I
you
think
can
women
come
are. I think women are methodical in the way they approach things. They compartmentalize stuff, so they might take. A man might be doing something for a long period of time, and they might be taking notes, mental notes,
now?
mental Rolodex.
Okay, somebody's paying attention.
So then when the big bang happens, she lets everything go at one time.
Yes.
It's like rapid fire. So he gets hit with all those darts at once. He don't know what to do. Words coming out. She throwing dates out there, names out there. She doing this and doing that. So he getting hit from all angles with all this stuff, and the only thing he know how to do is, what you say? You know what I mean? Because it's like
Wow.
rapid fire, you know what I mean? So, and that's another thing. We had to deal with the issue as they come. Don't wait. Don't hold it in.
Right.
Don't make it a big blowout. Don't wait till you get so angry and so mad that you can't deal no more.
Right.
And then you want to talk about it, or then you want to deal with it, because then it becomes.
It's a rage.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I mean. Because
That's
we
true.
not.
That is true.
I'm gonna tell you a prime example. I was dating somebody and this woman could text so fast. I couldn't respond. She would text like 8 texts, and I'd be trying to respond. What you say? And it was like 8 more come in, and I'd be like, and I'm getting cursed out left and right, and I'm like, I'm so angry. I crashed my car because I was trying to text. The phone dropped in between the console, and I ended up crashing my car on Mattawan Beantown Road. I flipped over, went on side.
Oh my God. See, no texting and driving.
Exactly.
Everyone.
That's another commercial. But yeah, you know what I mean. But I was so heated because I'm trying to read the text. I'm mad, but she just gonna like rapid fire. Like I said, rapid fire. So it's men deal with stuff. We kind of deal with stuff right then and there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we mad, we mad. We gonna tell you we mad. We might deal with it right then and there. A woman, man, what's wrong? Ain't nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Holding it all in.
You hungry? You want something? I'll make you something. Hey, look.
I'm guilty.
What?
Me too.
I'm guilty.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give you all that. Ain't nothing wrong. Whole time you know something wrong, you can feel it because energy is energy. It's transferable.
Right.
You can feel it, especially if you've been in a relationship with somebody for so long. You know that person. You know when they're mad. You know when they're upset.
Right.
And nothing is worse to me. I don't know about anybody else to me than if I actually was wrong. You tell me nothing, and I know something wrong, and you keep telling me nothing. What you mean ain't nothing wrong? You know what I mean? Stop playing. All right, then ain't nothing wrong. I'm leaving that. And then it's, it's back and forth. So, I think we just had to, even if I came up with an idea one time that sometimes it's best to write things down. Because sometimes when you're mad at a person, when you hear them talk, all you hear is blah, 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 blah.
That is true.
It's like, rah, 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 I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. But if they write it down, you read it, you can read it more than once. And really get the sense of and the gist of what they're trying to say. Because sometimes talking it's not good when you're angry.
Right.
No,
But if you have a letter, you sit down, you read the letter, you sitting by yourself, and you're alone with your thoughts, it can sink in and you can process it a lot better. And I think that's a very good way to deal with a lot of stuff. You know, and it could be in a nice little envelope, maybe, you know, even with a little heart or whatever can soften the punch a little bit. You know what I mean?
You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Just something to soften the blow a little bit, because at the end of the day, do you really want to fight or do you really want to fix the problem?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if it's about fixing the problem, then, you know, sometimes you got to fix the packaging and the way you address the problem.
That's
Right.
true.
I wanted to say this. I want to go back to something that you had mentioned when you were talking about how the women, how we can get, when it comes to the male, as far as the male getting aggressive, what I think needs to happen is, like we had discussed it with the DJ last week. I feel like maybe it should be a way that you could try to learn how to channel your emotions and everything, and say, just think of whatever kind of mechanism you can use to not throw that punch. If you have to leave, walk away for a minute till I cool down, because my son is guilty of that. And my son was diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder. They had all kinds of stuff labeled him, and it ain't a darn thing wrong with him other than, if you push a button, and keep pushing it, he's going to react, and sometimes not in a good way. And I'm an advocate against domestic violence. And now he's changed, but growing up, it was rough. He went through a lot too. And I see, that's why I'm like sympathetic on both sides. I'm like, I just want what's right, period. It's not about choosing sides or anything like that. Yeah, it's about doing what's right altogether. That is what's going to solve. And this, you coming here today, to me, is the beginning of us solving the problem. Because getting to the root of it, that's the key, as far as I'm concerned.
It is. And that's what I always say about peeling back the layers. Because a lot of times when and we've talked about this too, when you start peeling back the layers and seeing where it's started from.
Right.
Then you can understand.
You understand, right?
You can understand it a little.
And
bit
it always comes from something. Because on the way here, I was listening to the radio, and young lady was on the radio talking about how she used to strip, and I had said this on my radio show before. I can imagine. Do you like the strippers and the prostitutes, whatever? I'm sure they didn't come out of their mother womb saying, "Oh, this is going to be my calling." Something had to happen in their life to, make them choose that life. And that goes for anybody. It's just not, I just think something serious had to happen for a person to take either this way or that way. Some people like me, I'm going to be honest. Close your ears, kids.
Riri about to come.
I had my dance name picked out and everything. Chocolate Thunder.
Riri got my kids laughing.
I'm sorry.
Riri,
kids. I know I love
they all right. Riri.
Oh God! No, seriously. I'm sorry. That was a moment. I had a Riri moment. But anyway. Seriously.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're gonna go one way or the other. And I thank God, that I didn't go that way, but look, hey, it is what it is.
I think some of the problem is we overlook bad behavior until bad behavior hits us in the face.
Right.
You know what I mean? We look past, like, you was talking to me, we look past the uncle that passed the blood, or we look past the cousin that hits his wife,
right.
Or we look past, the cousin that might sell drugs. We look past all the bad behavior until it blows up.
Until it hits
affects us.
Until it affects us personally.
Right,
But
right.
what we fail to realize is we're all connected. You know what I mean? So everything that you do affects me indirectly or directly. You know what I mean? Everything that I do affects you indirectly and indirectly.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? We have to be more accountable for each other and more. We have to speak out when it's wrong.
Stand
You know what I
up
mean?
and
We have
say-
to stand
Yeah.
up and say that's not right. That's wrong. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
that's not. I'm not going to allow that while I'm around anyway. You know what I mean? So
And
I
that
think
takes
that's
courage.
one of the things, and that's something that for a long time I didn't have. I thought I was the toughest person on the block, but I didn't. You know, I couldn't. I wasn't going to tell you that you shouldn't do that, or you know what I mean, because that's not my business. But a lot of times it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
it
and
is.
Yeah.
We have
We
to
have to
make it
start
our
coming
business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's I think that we need to start connecting and get back to being humans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we have lost that. Like, I think we lost touch as society in the whole. We lost touch with our human side, with our our human nature.
Everybody's
you know what I mean? The love that we-
minding their business.
yeah.
I'm minding my own business.
We
That
are
nothing to do with me.
emotionally detached.
Right.
We're walking around emotionally detached. We're, you know, people walk down the street there in their cell phone like, boom. You know, they can't see what's going on. It's
Right.
like they have no clue what's going on. It could
Yeah.
be like on TV the other day, the couple that was at the bar. And the bar got robbed, and they was at the bar, and they didn't even know the bar got robbed because they was just like all over you.
Wow.
What's going on?
That's some real love right there.
Deep. I don't
that
know
was-
what you
I said
all
that
were
was
doing,
serious.
what was
I'm scared
going
of
on in
them.
y'all mind. But we're going to take some calls too, because I know you all are anxious to do so. And the number to call in is 240-620-7789. Again, it's 240-620-7789. I just have to commend you for coming in and telling this story. It's actually a testimony. I said that to
Yeah.
you. It's a testimony to be able to have, from where you come from, to see it and grow up around it, because you could have went a totally different route,
Right.
and still be in that route.
Yeah.
But he chose to do the better.
He had the
And,
courage.
yeah.
To do the better, walk away and change his life. And sometimes it takes things like somebody passing or, you know, something really, really bad happening for us to wake up.
Right.
And
You
let me
know.
just say this: I'm not nowhere near a finished product. Like,
No. None of us are.
I'm just saying, like,
No,
every
no.
day I
None of us
struggle
Of
with
course.
making sure that I stay on top of myself and do the things that I'm supposed to do, because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, you know,
No,
I'm not
people
perfect
gonna
at all.
talk,
Like,
even when you-
I'm still
Right.
Right.
every day I had to bring it in and
We all do.
woosah and make
Please
sure
tell
that I
him.
don't, go off the deep end. You know,
Please tell him.
We
So I just
still
wanna make
work
sure
in
that
progress.
you
Yeah,
understand that,
definitely.
I'm every day a work in progress.
Yeah,
every day.
we
That's
still are.
us all. That's everybody. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody.
So at the end of the day, the fact that you were willing to come here and be bold enough to share your story and talk about what you did wrong and admit to doing wrong and say, you know, that's a step toward in the right direction. So regardless of whether you are wherever you are, we accept you for where you are and the fact that you're trying to do better.
Well, thank you. I
So,
appreciate that.
you know, that's what it's about. And this is a step for you and for all the men out there that are listening that hopefully will come in too now because of you.
So we need to get some more fellas. They said they
That's
want some more
right.
fellas.
We
on
need
the
some
show.
more
Get some more on
fellas.
here.
We definitely do because it's real.
Don't be ashamed.
It is.
Right.
It really
It's
is.
real and it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it happens and you're not alone, as you can see.
Yeah.
You know.
You're not.
So.
And the positive energy is so good. And I was telling Renee after we had spoke, I was like, you know what? I said, he is really standing in his truth. I said, his energy is so positive. You can pretty much tell when things are sugar-coated. Or it's just, about something that we can't figure out.
Right.
So it
Thank you.
it means a whole lot because
Yeah.
I was on a trip last.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what? Tell us more about your what you're doing now. Curious to know about that.
Well, this happened like 3 years. It's been about 2 years. No, actually, it's before my dad died. So it was like about 4 or 5 years ago. I was working at Longhorn Steakhouse as a chef, and they wanted me to work like every weekend, And I'm just like, I got kids. My son play football. I want to go to the games. I don't want to always be tied down. And I ended up leaving to start my own business, which started out as a personal chef venture, doing some small parties, catering and stuff like that, and became Creative Date, which is basically personal chef service / catering. But I want to do something different. I want to be different because what I want to do is, my goal is to create your perfect date. So you might call me and give me ideas of what you have in your head. It might be, you've been on the beach or whatever. Like, I want to be able to bring to life your vision of what a perfect date or date night would be for you. So that's my goal. That's what I'm doing.
Awesome.
See, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. So now, he done went from all the way over here to seeing, the abuse and doing his portion of the abuse. Now he trying to bring everybody together with the food.
See?
He trying to create dates.
You know how food
so
does.
you all can love one another.
Actually, that's my my catchphrase is food equal love. That's
See?
my hashtag, one of my hashtags. So,
I
because
can't wait to
believe
taste some of the food myself.
I'm gonna tell you
I believe
something.
I'm
food
just
and
saying.
music brings people together.
Let me tell you something.
Renee got on my nerves the other day because I'm going to share this story. This is kind of off a little bit, but I'm going to share my portion of this. This is Lily speaking now. So Riri called me and will text me, and she showed me all these tasty
Everything.
things.
Like, I was like
on
going
this
down your page, just like sending her
and
stuff.
I'm like, okay, it's 10 after 10 and
Yes.
what is she doing to me?
I just wanted you to see.
I'm looking at the food. Food looks so good. It just really looks good. So I go downstairs to my refrigerator, thinking that it was, in my refrigerator, but it wasn't. But then I had to get on Ruby because I'm like, really? For real though?
Yeah.
You had to show me this?
I just wanted you to understand. Because, see, I taste this food already.
Man. See?
So I know what it's like.
See what I'm saying?
I already know what it is.
Well, we're going to have him come back
delicious,
anyway. And then
by
we're
the
going
way.
to do
Yeah. When you come back,
Yeah, of course.
we're going to have him come back and
he gonna bring us some of that food.
Yeah,
and we're going to
I got
taste test it. Well, I already know, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you can still bring me a plate.
I'm
got you.
a taste test, and I'll let y'all know.
Trust me, it's good. But yes.
I'm good. But let me ask you too. So, what is it now that you would extend out to some of the men that are well, I won't say hiding behind, but are finding it very difficult to come out and say, I was in this place, but
I would just say the first step in fixing or becoming a better person is to admit, wrongdoing. To stand up and say, I made a mistake. I did some things that wasn't right. Because the longer you deny it within yourself, the longer it's going to recreate itself.
Right.
And remanifest itself. I think you have to admit to anything that you've ever done wrong. You have to ask for forgiveness for it. In order to really ask for forgiveness, you have to say out loud, I did this. I made
Admit
made that mistake. Even if you've never been arrested for it or ever been caught for it, like you have to say, you have to. Even if it's just to the person that you did it to, you know what I mean, or whatever. I think in sharing with other people, you give them an opportunity to live vicariously through your testimony. So maybe that'll help them.
right.
That's the truth.
Find the courage to come out and say, I made some mistakes and I did some stuff that wasn't right.
That's true.
I'm a very self-analyzing person, so I beat myself up a lot. You know what I mean? Like if I make a mistake or I do something wrong, I ponder over it a lot. Back and forth. So it rattles around in my head, and I lose sleep a lot over it. I go through weeks and days with insomnia real bad because I'm thinking like, damn, I shouldn't do that. Like, just recently, me and my mom got into an argument, and I'm really, really hurt over that because it was something that could have been avoided. You know what I mean? But we have a very iffy up and down relationship because it's still not completely healed. You know what I mean? And that's on both ends, on my end and on her end. But, so I think the best thing you could do is make sure that you admit when you're wrong, Get it out the way. You know, don't find excuses.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just man up, basically. You know what I mean? That's the easiest way I can say it. Just man up. Like, I was wrong. I made some mistakes. You know what I mean? I did some things that I'm not proud of, or you know, whatever it is. You know what I mean? I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
I think it goes a long way with our children too, because you know, so often we tell our children to be admit when they're wrong and stuff like that, but we as adults don't admit when we're wrong, or we can or we won't. You know what I mean? And even to them, we won't admit. You know, we hit them with the do as I say. You know what I mean?
Do what I do,
Instead of saying, you know, I made some mistakes, and I'm
Right.
like, I have 2 daughters, and you know, I ain't always do the right thing. You know what I mean? They saw some stuff they probably shouldn't saw. You know, and I've acted certain ways that I probably shouldn't have acted in front of them. But I always sit them down and I talk to them and say, look, I love you. You know what I mean? I always want the best for you. I'm trying, like, I'm a parent, but I'm a human. And I'm learning just like you're learning. And I tell my middle girl is really, 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 like, in touch with her emotions and feelings. And she said she's very vocal, too. And she, you know, and I always tell her words sometimes reach me and teach me, you know what I mean? Because she's brought me out of slumps and stuff like that. So she's really, really sweet. Like my oldest girl is sweet too, but she's more reserved. Like I have to drag it out of her. And, you know what I mean? Like just come here, tell me what's on your mind. And she waits, she gets mad, and then she'll, you know what I mean? My middle girl, she's more sensitive. She's like, you can't even raise your voice. She's like, oh no, I don't know why you do that. Like that's her. You know what I'm saying? So, and my son, he's just all over the place. He's a good dude. He's emotional too though. Like he hugs his sisters. Like he always wants to be around them, like stuff like that. So he's really emotional too. And
he's gonna be protective of his sisters.
I'm glad that he's like that and
very
really in touch with his emotions and stuff like that. But he's a good dude. And sometimes he's a little too strong with him. He gives him big bear hugs. He's a big guy.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, that's all right.
That's a good thing.
That's fine.
But I've been blessed to have some very, very great children.
I will say this. I'm gonna throw it out there a little bit, devil's advocate. You know how I do.
Yeah.
What about, and I've seen this in my own family, and this is why I'm putting it out there, the mothers who know that their children, be it the female or the male, are the abuser or the abuser, and they just kind of push it to the side and let it.
That's funny you ask that, because I'm a big fan of hypocrisy. You can't be one instance say I'm gonna speak out against this, or I don't condone this, and then you condone it, and that goes with all types of behavior. You know what I mean? Like you have women that say they don't like lazy men, but in turn they raise lazy men.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying? So you can't
have it both
ways.
ways.
You can't say because eventually that guy that you raise, or that gentleman that you raise, goes out into the world and he takes on his own life, his own family, and all that stuff, and all that stuff that you might have saw on TV, that you were screaming at the TV like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that to that person. Could be the son that you let get away with all that stuff over the years, you know what I mean? Or the cousin, brother, or whatever. You know what I mean? And I see that a lot too, where women don't condone cheating, but will lie for their brothers who cheat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, how do you justify that? You know what I'm saying? How do you say, well, I don't like cheaters, but your brother's an avid cheater? Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
because that's our brother.
Yeah, but
Devil's
so I guess family trumps bad behavior.
No.
Exactly. If it's bad behavior, it's bad behavior.
Period.
Regardless if it's cousin, mother, sister, brother. It should be, I'm not a fan of bad behavior, or I'm an advocate for good behavior. So
that is true. Well, I want to say this. My son, speaking of that, my son was, as I mentioned, he had his share of abusive relationships, and he got into it with although my grandkid's mother, she just knew all his buttons, and she would definitely push them. She would say things to him like on the low, so I couldn't hear it, and he would be like black out and start screaming, and naturally I'm going to get upset with him. And one day I came in and they were fighting. And I'm not having none of that. So I literally
Grabbed him.
Yeah. I went in on my child, my son. Because like I said, it's not the fact that he's my son. if you're wrong, you're wrong,
period.
period. How can I stand up, and fight against domestic violence, and because this is my son, I'm going to, defend him? Right. No, that's not who I am. And I checked him I did more than check him that
Riri
day.
came out.
Yeah, Riri definitely came out. And, that's just how it is. That's how it's supposed to be, though.
That is. Well, unfortunately, we're coming to another close. It is just too good. I hate when this part comes, especially when we have such a good topic.
Yes.
And we will be bringing him back.
Yes,
I'm
we
going
will.
to kidnap him like I kidnapped Renee. We'll bring him back because I'm sure there's some questions out there that people want to answer or want to ask. But we definitely wanted to kind of dive into the story first and get all of that information. So again, we've actually put some information on there for you all to find if you feel that there's some domestic violence going on. There's a domestic hotline number that you all can call, and just try to let's prevent all of this. Let's do our best to work towards prevention, and just trying to work for a better cause and bring everyone together as best we can.
Definitely.
Get back to loving one another.
Yeah, that's
Any
the
last
case.
words, Renee?
Well, I want to say this. I want to let everyone know that I went to the White House yesterday. And y'all know I go hard when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault. So I did have an opportunity to go to the White House. I didn't see our president, unfortunately, but I did get to meet the Vice President Biden.
Right.
And, it was just as good. I mean, he's really down for, domestic violence and everything. Like, he's against it. And it was just really powerful. And I just feel so blessed that everything, how I turned my pain into my purpose now, because it could have went any way, but I'm just happy that it's turning out
We could have
for the
had
good.
CT sitting here.
I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
But I am so proud of her. Yeah, we talked about
you.
it, so I'm so proud of both of you again.
Yeah.
I commend
Thank
both of
you for coming, too.
Thank you for
No,
coming.
thank you for
I
having
really
me.
do.
Thank you for having me. It
Wonderful.
was great. It was better than I expected. I expected nothing but great, but it was better than great. So,
Wow.
But we weren't gonna punish you too much.
you know,
We weren't gonna.
I was ready. Bob and weed.
Now when the camera's shut, I'm just playing. I'm joking.
It's all love.
But again, we love you all, and we'll see you
Yes.
next week. Next week we will be talking, actually on the sexual assault.
Yes.
So we'll touch on that a little bit more.
Don't
and
forget,
get more
this is
into that.
Sexual Abuse Awareness Month.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
changed. I am complete. Yeah. No more heartache or pain. I am complete. Yes, I said it.